This project is a radially symmetrical shape design. You can do this project with any materials that you have at home. You could use drawing materials, you could use painting materials. We're going to start with a square piece of paper. If you don't have a square piece of paper at home, you can make one by taking a rectangular piece of paper and folding it on a diagonal. The extra piece of paper on the edge, I'm going to trace and cut that extra piece right off my paper. Don't worry about the fold in your paper because we're going to be folding our paper anyway for the project. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to open it up and fold it in half the other way. And I already have the one diagonal fold on my paper. I'm going to fold my paper in the opposite direction diagonally. So now I have some lines that will help me to get my design symmetrical all the way around on all of those folds. You can use some things that you might find at home that you could trace, or you might take some cardboard and make some tracers of your own. I'm going to begin by tracing one of my shapes in the center of my paper. I can use my fold lines to help me line that up. Make sure you ask your parent if you can borrow the shapes that you are finding around the house to trace. I can put another shape inside that. And now I'm going to work towards my outside edges to make my shape symmetrical in a radial design. My diamond I'm going to trace on each of the folds that went across and up and down my paper. I'm going to take a circle and trace that at the top of each of my diamonds. The idea is to work from the center of your paper towards the outside edge along those folds. I could even continue my diamonds in between the diamonds that I drew originally on the diagonal folds. And I could trace my circle at the ends of my diamonds. Kind of reminds me of a kaleidoscope design. When you're done planning your design, you can trace around your shapes with a dark colored marker. If you're planning on drawing with some markers, colored pencils, or crayons, it doesn't matter whether you use a water-based marker or a permanent marker. If you want to paint your design, I would recommend you use a permanent marker so that when you add water next to your lines don't bleed. And if you're worried about your colors coming across the line, if you have some glue at home, you could take some regular white glue and outline all of the shapes and let that dry before painting. I've done that with this piece of paper, so I'll show you how the glue helps hold some of those colors in place. Remember to make your colors repeat around the design as well. So since I used the turquoise inside my triangle, I'm going to repeat my turquoise color in all 4 of my triangles. The colors you use are completely up to you. You could try to work with a color scheme, maybe all the cool colors or all the warm colors, or you could add whatever colors you'd like. Just remember to repeat the same color inside the same shapes. So again, the materials are your choice. If you don't have paints at home, it's fine to use your crayons or your markers or your colored pencils. You could use a combination of those. You could experiment with putting markers on top of crayons or markers on top of colored pencils or colored pencils mixed in with crayons. So the choice is yours. Paints, colored pencils, crayons, markers. I hope you enjoy making your radially symmetrical design.